Hello, welcome to another toneless landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and I wonder why I didn't capitalize the word painter there. The painting I'm bringing you today is called Sepia Path. It's a 5x7, and I painted this a while back. I don't even know when. January. I can see that now. I've just been sitting on it for you. I think it's really good. But you know how it is. Actually, sometimes like I'll do something that's really good and groovy, but it's maybe very similar to the last video I put up or painting I put up. But for the most part, I try and share everything I do that is even halfway decent. Here, although I'm not always able. The more productive I am, of course, the more paintings I do, and the most that I'll share in a week is usually like 2. Anyway, we are working on like this very interestingly. It's a textured board, and then I went over it with some. It looks like I went over it with some oil paints, like yellow ochre, burnt raw sienna tone. A little on the greeny side, but it worked really well for this painting, and this painting is that's really lovely. I have to say, it's in my studio. I still got it. Still sitting on it. Now, I have painted this scene a lot. In fact, just recently we revisited an initial painting session. It's based on some reference I took a long time ago, and I just love this kind of it's just my kind of scene, my kind of trees, my kind of path. All of it's there. Here I was doing a kind of a sepia take on it, which is always good. I think it's good, and I was showing somebody how to do some, not so much landscape painting, but how to paint a figure or anything else really. And I was showing them starting out with, you could do the same really. It's you got some burnt umber, you got some yellow ochre, maybe a little white, maybe a little black. You can move that the green spectrum. There's a bit of the burnt umber doesn't tilt green; it tilts red. Yellow ochre tilts green. No question about it. So a lot of times I might get some either the red iron oxide or the actual burnt sienna. Just even if it's not a sienna that I want to go reddish, I will maybe have that on my palette just to keep the yellow ochre in line, because it wants to go green. Especially once you hit it with any black, it goes green, and not a very pretty green. It's kind of an olive green. I mean, you can make it work. You can make any color work. It's all contextual. Anyway, I am going to go live. I didn't. I'll put in a little announcement at the beginning. It is going to be a different day though. So that's been my Saturday. That's been too disruptive to my painting routine, and it didn't. It seems like people did show up and watch and stuff. But we'll try. What I'm going to do. It'll be your Saturday, same time, around 6 o'clock. Pacific time, and we'll get together. We're just going to mess with some reference, but again, if you are someone on the channel and you got some questions or whatever, that would be the time to hit me up. But if you don't, that's fine too, because I'm going to keep exploring the reference in Photoshop. I do that all the time anyway. And I haven't really been looking at the response to the live thing, and someone could go, well, don't you care? And the thing is like, yes I do. I care very much about people like you coming around and paying attention to what I do. I do care about it, but you have to be careful in this modern era. And if you're someone who's considering maybe getting into content creation on your own, be careful, because a lot of times what will happen is just like I recommend, don't paint things that you don't want to paint just for money, because you might find more success than you ever wanted, and there you are painting stuff you don't care about. We're going to have an ad for the book coming up, and we've been shipping quite a few books out, so I'm very gratified about that. I'm not doing an ad for the video courses right now. They're still there. And we have sold some of those, and that's been very gratifying as well. Actually, super gratifying because I work so hard on them. But I'm getting ready to. Let's just talk about the book, because the book is awesome, and the book is there for the ages. You know, no internet, but you still got your paints, and you still got your boards, and you still got some sunlight. Guess what? You're painting. You know, you can just paint. You don't need the internet to do that. That was my big attraction to the book. I suspect we are going to have the internet for as long as humanity is going now, but you never know. Things seem to just disappear like they didn't matter at all, you know. Anyway, I will be doing more promotional stuff with the courses coming up, but I got to be more. I'm gonna be more good about it. Anyway, you can see how magical it was once we started bringing in those lighter yellow ochre tones with a little bit of white. Now, by the way, the white will kill the green quality. White is the ultimate color killer. What remains is the yellowish bit. A lot of the greens is subsumed. Yellow ochre is very handy, though. I use yellow ochre a lot for its opacity, especially in sepia sorts of scenarios. Yeah, this is always a good part. So I basically took the same approach here I would with anything, even the seascape. You know, I did the drawing, and then I did this sky area, and now I'm going in and doing the darkest tones, a little darker. I had a pretty good indication there in the underpainting, but it's so fun. And I had, when I'd done this, I had the revisit of so what had happened, it was a painting that was just in the live area that I'd done back in probably 2016 or 18, excuse me. And a lovely young lady come in and bought the painting, and I thought, oh, this is not really on the channel. I was looking for it. It was all, there's a whole chunk of really cool stuff from that era that all just it got sucked into the members area when I made everything that was a live painting session is basically in the members area. That's not exactly the case now. There are some things that I do. It's been a little while, and I probably should do that coming up too, where I just do a whole live painting session there for everybody, so they can see what the members area is like. What's the members area like? Well, you got your 4K, you got your no ads, you got Uncle Mike sitting there painting, and every now and again he says something. That's the honest truth. That's what it is. It's like you were there in the studio with me. A lot of people like to have it on as their painting, you know. It's kind of like it's kind of like we're sharing the studio. Yeah. Anyway, check it out if you're interested. Yeah, check out that book too. I like so the thing is with sepia is that you get a whole range, you know, from reddish sepia to greenish sepia. And it's all still sepia. This is sepia, basically, I guess, another way of saying brown, right? And brown, very mysterious color, because brown really sidles that area between the red and the green. It occupies both spaces. As I pointed out, this is not a green painting, so I don't know why I'm giving you tips on painting green, but you know me, I just do. But the brown is ever so useful when dealing with green landscapes, because you can just inject a bunch of green. Similarly, I guess I'm not talking too good today. Similarly, like I could just bring in the smallest amount of green in this landscape and transform it. You know, I just did a little study this morning in the studio. I'm home for lunch right now doing this video, which I'm going to put up. I'm going to put up for you tonight. Mostly because I want to let people know about that. We will be going live. It'll be my Sunday, your Saturday. Yeah, because I live in the future. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, this morning, little riffing on John Francis Murphy, a painting I did a lot, but a little tiny 3.5 by 3.5, and it was all about. I bring it up because it was all about his whole thing. There was red and green sunset. He does it, does it brilliantly. But one of the things I noticed is that I could just start plunking green in, and it looked fine, you know. So green is very flexible. Like what I would do is maybe add a bit of red to the green, but I think this painting is smashing. You know, the thing that that hazy tree in the distance. Yeah, I was wondering if I should make that a little more present, but I'm not going to worry about it because I know I'll probably paint this scene yet again. I just love it. I think it's a strong. Very seldom is it that you come across a scene in nature that is actually composed. And I was speaking with a friend about that yesterday, and you know, you've heard me talk about composition a lot here, and I'm assuming that you might be somebody interested in painting. And that's, oh yeah, I can lay that on you, because I'm sure I probably won't remember by the time this little 3.5 makes it, 3.5 by 3.5 makes it to the channel. Is so little small paintings like 5x7s, get yourself a whole big old bunch of them. You could just do, you don't need to get this involved. You could just do the drawings, the underpaintings. Get yourself some burn umber, work things out, you know. A lot of people actually can work on paper, but the thing about the paper is that it's white, so you're going to have to tone it anyway. And honestly, like some MDF, you know, I just got some frames. They have the backing board is MDF, you know. It's basically honorary cardboard, right? Yeah. You gotta, I would say just get in there and look at some references, start doing these underpaintings, and yeah, go ahead and finish some, because you got a lot of skills you got to bring along if you're a painter. But I have to say that the number one most difficult skill, and where you will, I think, develop most, because is with composition. Just to finish that idea before it's the composition. That's where I've seen the most progress. I've been able, and my friend was asking me about that too, about technique and stuff. And I've had most of my, yes, I'm always bringing along bits of the painting technique, and trying different variations of things. But I've had the skills for a long time. Even when the skills with handling the brush and the color were being applied to something that had flawed composition. Think about that. You know, if the composition, if the structure isn't absolutely sound, it really doesn't matter how virtuoso your brushwork is. It doesn't matter how sublime your color modulation is. It doesn't matter, because the underlying structure is not congruent to having a pleasant viewing experience. And it's always a struggle. It's a struggle for me, breaking things down. Maybe it wouldn't be if all I was doing was painting the same painting over and over, but I'm constantly using a new bit of reference, and every bit of reference that's new, even the old bits of reference, like I painted this a lot, but I'm not the same person. I'm coming at it a bit different, and a lot of times what I'll do is flip things too. When it's flipped, you're just you're approaching it and thinking about it differently. You can't help it. Anyway, that'd be a great tip. You know, even just you could just work on paper, honestly, like some thick one of those kind of sketch pad things they have with the thicker watercolor paper. You could just get a brush out and just do composition after composition after composition. Then you could paint up the good ones, the strong ones. Of course, there's the problem with the blind spot. That's the other thing. You really don't know a lot of times. You're not spotting the issues with the composition because of that's just experience. I think you have to travel enough times in a foreign land that you get comfortable speaking the language, right? That's what's up. Anyway, that's it for this video. Come visit me live. That'll be Saturday, 6 o'clock Pacific time, which will be 9 o'clock Eastern time. Come say hi to Uncle Mike, and until that time, until I bring you another video, Do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. And God bless you and your family. Fight the power.